Why missing the 3 Ds, faith, finances, and discipline, is sabotaging your destiny. Napoleon Hill. Imagine standing in the eye of a storm, surrounded by chaos. The wind howling frustrations and unfulfilled dreams. The rain a barrage of confusion pouring down upon your mind. This is where many of us find ourselves, adrift without the guiding anchors of faith, finances, and discipline. Elements that illustrious thinkers like Napoleon Hill have emphasized as the bedrock of true success. If you've ever felt weighed down by uncertainty, burdened by missed opportunities, or confined within the walls of self-doubt, then you are not alone. Hear the urgency in these words, for a profound awakening is upon you, one that demands your attention and action. In a modest apartment, cluttered with scattered thoughts and paper, one man, the embodiment of many, pulsed with unrelenting longing. Night after restless night, he wrestled with a heavy heart that yearned for meaning and success, yet found only confusion and despair. But amid the storm raged a singular spark, an unyielding, burning desire ignited within him. His pacing filled the room as he distanced himself from doubt, grasping the incredible potential of the human mind. Think about it. Your true strength lies hidden beneath the shackles of fear and despair, waiting for you to uncover. Right now, you may feel trapped by invisible barriers. Debt gnaws at your stability. The fear of failure paralyzes your ambition, and procrastination steals your precious time. But guess what? These limitations are not your destiny. They are simply the fabric of fear that you can tear apart with sheer will. At this crossroads, the man felt a fragile hope emerge, whispering possibilities of change. He realized that the power to reshape his life resided within him. By establishing faith in himself, meticulously mastering his resources, and forging discipline as a steadfast ally, he could transform the narrative of his existence. This was no mere fantasy. It was a palpable reality waiting to be claimed. Hey, before we continue this journey of transformation, I need to ask you something very important. A lot of people have told me that YouTube unsubscribed them from the channel without warning. Take a quick look at that red button and make sure you're still subscribed, okay? I don't want you to miss a single episode, a single mindset idea, a single word of power that could completely change your life. And since you're here, hit that like button with energy, because it really helps this channel reach more minds who also want to prosper. And tell me in the comments, where are you watching this video from? I love knowing how far this positive energy is reaching. Your participation means a lot. Let's walk this path to success together. As he continued his reflection, the recognition of his obstacles transformed into determination. Each step taken was deliberate. Each decision made was steeped in rational faith, guiding him through the fog of uncertainty. He began to understand that success was not an elusive dream, but a disciplined path traveled by those brave enough to align purpose, effort, and belief. The vision of victory did not reveal itself immediately. Yet with every ounce of perseverance and every moment dedicated to self-discipline, a quiet confidence began to bloom. This journey marked only the beginning, a new cycle of life powered by intention, transforming frustration into focus and chaos into clarity. Remember, your story is far from over. It's evolving, transforming, and unfurling with each firm choice you make. A powerful awakening is happening right now. Your mind is forging new connections, dreams are taking shape, and the invisible is set to manifest into reality. Engage with this moment and let it guide you through the life of your dreams. This is where you start today. Trust in the journey ahead and embrace the power within you, for your destiny awaits. The air shifted. The weight of doubt felt lighter, yet heavier, an intense tug-of-war within. In that moment, clarity sliced through the fog. He paused, breath caught in his chest. What if all this time he had been searching for answers outside himself? What if the missing pieces of his life were not waiting in distant dreams, but buried deep inside him? A memory flickered. A brief moment from his childhood, standing under a sprawling oak tree, imagining limitless possibilities, declaring to the universe that he could be anything. The echo of that fearless child whispered truths long ignored. The barriers weren't real. They were illusions he created out of fear. How many times had he accepted limits as fate? How many days wasted in a cycle of not enough? Their grip released like smoke in the wind. Suddenly, an intense realization dawned. His thoughts were the architects of his reality. The inner dialogue had shaped every decision, every setback. It was time to rewrite that script. No more waiting for permission. No more settling for less. The dream was already within reach. Faith, finances, and discipline weren't distant ideals. They were the tools, waiting for him to wield them. And it hit him. Right now, he stood at the precipice of change. What choices would echo tomorrow? What dreams would wake him up, heart racing, inspired to leap into action? This was only the beginning. The fire lit within him became an insatiable hunger, fueling his journey forward. Would he dare to stay awake and grasp the life he imagined? Would he let go of the old story and embrace the one waiting to unfold? The answers were just beyond today, waiting for him to take that next step. And then it happened. A swell of realization surged through him, shaking his core. Memories flooded back, not the mundane ones, but vivid images of those small moments when he believed he could soar. He saw his 10-year-old self standing at the edge of the playground, eyes bright with hope. I could be anything, he thought then. In that instant, a voice broke through the layers of doubt. Why did you forget? The darkness whispered lies. It cloaked his dreams in heavy fog. But now, clarity emerged. What if all those feelings of being stuck were simply figments of a fearful mind? What if the key to freedom was buried in the innocent belief of that child? Suddenly, he felt each limiting belief, each "I can't" and "I'll never," fall away like autumn leaves. His heart raced. A fire ignited within him, consuming those old stories. Every second wasted in lethargy was a betrayal to that fearless child. What would it mean to reclaim that power? The universe, vast and interconnected, seemed to nod in agreement, urging him to awaken. Today is not just another day. It's a pivot, he thought. A wave of urgency washed over him, and he understood. The universe doesn't hand out answers. It grants opportunities. What if he chose to act? What if he decided that now was the time to lead, not follow? That relentless whisper grew louder inside him. It echoed a question. What if the path to his dreams was just one fear-free step away? Could he dare to trust in himself, to grasp that potential just waiting to be unleashed? There was no turning back now, only the haunting thrill of possibility. Embrace it, chase it, and so, standing on the edge of transformation, he realized the next step was both terrifying and exhilarating. Would he let that momentum carry him, feeling the vibrant pulse of life? The question hung in the air, charged with electric anticipation. A choice sat heavy on his heart, a final beckoning to climb higher. And then it happened. A surge coursed through him like lightning, a moment so profound that time itself seemed to shatter. He stopped, breathless, as the weight of self-doubt fell away. A memory, once buried deep, burst forth with vivid clarity. The day he first learned to ride a bike. The thrill of independence, the wind in his hair, the laughter of friends urging him on. That heart-stopping moment when he realized he was finally free, flying without training wheels. The truth hit harder than any blow. He had spent years believing he needed permission to soar. He had waited for the right moment, the right sign, the right kind of courage. But what if the only thing holding him back was an outdated story? The notion that he couldn't, that he shouldn't? That was the lie. Suddenly, everything blurred into focus. His fears were merely echoes of a past that no longer defined him. The world wasn't waiting for him to catch up. It was inviting him to claim his place. And it started now. What if he took that leap forward without looking back? What if this very moment was the turning point? He felt a rush of excitement pulse through his veins, igniting an insatiable hunger. This was more than just a desire for change. It was a fervent yearning for freedom, to be the architect of his destiny. Could he trust that the universe would rise to meet him if he boldly took that step? The whispers, once filled with doubt, turned into a roaring chorus of possibilities. The future shimmered like a mirage, both tantalizing and terrifying. Now, the question loomed larger than ever. Was he ready to rewrite his story, to engage with the life waiting just beyond his fears? There was no roadmap, no guaranteed path, just the raw, electrifying potential of the unknown. Keep moving forward, heart ablaze with hope, knowing that the only thing standing between him and his dreams was the courage to embrace every moment, every choice, and to act. And then, in the stillness of that moment, the clarity struck him like thunder. What if his entire life had been a reflection of a single belief that he was unworthy of the very dreams he craved? A fleeting memory surfaced, the embarrassment of being told he'd never be good enough. That taunt echoed, unconsciously shaping his choices, stealing his drive. But now, in the light of a new dawn, he understood. Those were words meant to bind him, but he had the key for his release. What if he let go? What if he acknowledged those whispers as illusions, shadows, chasing him through a life unlived? Tears welled up as anger and sorrow transformed into strength. He was more than those limiting definitions. The boy at the playground, filled with audacity, had been buried, but not lost. He felt the pulse of that child surge within him, asking, "Why not me?" In a heartbeat, the illusions that had held him captive began to crumble. Each doubt was nothing but a figment of a fearful mind, and he finally grasped the profound truth. The universe isn't waiting for him to prove himself. It's waiting for him to claim his story, to step into his power, to awaken. There was no safety net, no visible hand guiding him, just an open field stretching towards the horizon of possibilities. What if this very moment was the beginning of everything? A sacred doorway inviting him to take that leap, igniting a fire that urged him to shed the mundane and embrace the extraordinary. Could he dance with uncertainty, knowing freedom lay not in perfection, but in bravery? This wasn't just a choice. It was a dare to engage with life fully, to engage with his dreams, to bend the world with audacious steps. What if it all began now? Could he feel the weight of that question pressing against his heart? A delicious challenge to keep moving forward, to uncover new horizons? Transformation awaited, just beyond the fog of yesterday, ever ready for those willing to act. It always starts with a flicker of truth, something quietly nagging at the corners of your mind, a moment of realization that shifts everything. And there it is. A thought strikes like lightning, cutting through the tangled mess of uncertainty. You've been waiting for a sign, but what if you are the sign? In that heartbeat, the universe collapses time. Memories rush forward, each one telling a story of unspent potential and unrealized dreams. You remember days filled with sunshine, laughter, and boundless hope. The moments when you dared to see the world as a playground, not a constraint. The thoughts you clung to, I'm not enough, this isn't for me, suddenly dissolve into nothingness. Each one a lie you'd accepted as truth. What if the only voice you should listen to is the one filled with desire? The one that shouts, I can. It's a gift. This moment of brutal clarity. A cracking open of your heart. Yes, fear thrums in the background, but it's the pulse of your energy that's now louder, more vibrant. You stand poised at the edge. Can you feel the shift? It's not about having the road laid out ahead. It's about the fire ignited within. Fear fought against love. You wince, then smile, as you discover the power of choice sitting squarely in your hands. That small child within you, the joyful creator, he's still here, eager to reclaim his voice. What if every single choice from this moment forward becomes an act of defiance against that old narrative? What if this very thought, the questioning, the struggle, carries the key to your liberation? Ask yourself, what bold leaps could you take if fear weren't a factor? What dream is whispering for your attention, longing for action? The universe, once merely an entity, now feels like an ally, nudging you forward. What if you lean in? What if you allow this newfound explosion of awareness to guide you? Can you feel it? The heartbeat of transformation quickening? Get ready, because the path is unfolding, and the doubt, it's just a stage, a flickering play. The real show, the one that unfurls the life you desire, begins with you daring to embrace every moment fully. What if this is just the beginning, the dawn of every possibility? Keep moving forward, heart locked onto that burning vision of what could be, as you write the next part of your story without fear holding you back. And then it struck him like a bolt of lightning. What if he had been playing a role in someone else's story all this time? A puppet, dancing to the tunes of doubt and fear, deciding his worth by the thoughts of others. What if the very chains that held him back were crafted from the whispers of past failures, not from any truth? He paused, heart racing, as a memory flickered to life. The day he stood before his class, heart pounding, unable to share his poetry. The laughter, the judgments from years past, the echoes of "you can't," "you shouldn't," wrapped around him like a heavy cloak. But now, with newfound clarity, he saw it, the illusion. Those voices had become a cage of his own making. What if he could break free, not because of external validation, but simply because he chose to? What if the worth he craved was embedded within, waiting to be uncovered? The understanding hit him hard. The only person who could define his capabilities was him. Each self-judgment crumbled into dust as he recognized the truth. Dreams need courage, not permission. The heartbeats of his younger self echoed through him, reminding him of the endless possibilities. Years lost in quiet fear now forged a new resolve. What if this very moment was the catalyst? Could he finally believe that the dreams he buried were still alive, just waiting to be worn like a crown? Forget the past. Let it serve as a lesson, not a limitation. Transformation and opportunity danced before him, wild and vibrant. Now he grips the reins of his life, feeling the pulse of power in every heartbeat. And just like that, the fire ignited. He could feel it, bright and warm. But as he takes an exhilarating breath, he asks himself, am I ready to step off this tightrope of doubt? What if every leap I take leads me closer to the life I'm destined for? A life where every decision is an act of defiance against fear. There's an electric anticipation fluttering inside him. The mirror holds a new reflection, one of strength, courage, and relentless pursuit. What could it be, this life unfolding before him? How far could he go if he chose to trust this path? What if every choice he makes tomorrow is the start of something wondrous? The unknown awaits, and with an unwavering heart, he must venture forth, ready to embrace the wild possibilities that lie ahead. And then it dawned on him, clear as day. What if all this time he had been holding on to a mask, a façade craftado por folha de falta, de juízo? What if the real him had been buried beneath layers of "I'm not enough"? In that moment, the heaviness seemed to lift, replaced by a revelation so profound it shook his core. He recalled a time long ago, the laughter of his friends surrounding him as they chased fireflies on a summer evening. Feeling invincible then, he had believed in magic, life's infinite possibilities. That child still lived within him. What if he had simply allowed the world to overshadow that belief? What if the very act of becoming small, of fading into the background, was the betrayal he had committed against his own spirit? Then it clicked. The barriers he faced, self-doubt, fear of judgment, scarcity, were illusions, mere constructs of a timid mind. They weren't real. What if he tore away this mask and stepped into his true self? How wouldn't the world respond to that authenticity? Tears welled up, not of sadness, but of purity, a release valve for years of pent-up frustration. Imagine if he embraced every flaw, every quirk as integral parts of the masterpiece he was meant to become. What if this very second became the defining moment? What if he decided, right here and now, to cast aside the weight of others' expectations? A new path opened, vibrant and inviting. He stood at a crossroads, and every heartbeat pulsed with potential. Sense the thrill of that choice, each one melding into the next. Could this shift be what he needed to ignite his journey? The universe was waiting, hands open. The only question now lingered in the air. Will he dare to step into his light? And then in the stillness, everything shifted. What if, for once, you questioned the very foundation of your beliefs? What if all those years of feeling inadequate, of playing small, were just whispers of fears crafted by others, not you? A sudden clarity washes over you like rain breaking a long drought. You remember a time long ago, the first time you rode a bike without training wheels. The thrill, the wind rushing past you like freedom itself. In that moment, you knew you were capable of anything. But somewhere along the way, you traded that limitless spirit for safety. You let the world dictate your worth. And now you stand poised on the edge of a profound awakening. Take a breath. What if that relentless fear was just a shadow, a reflection of those who sought to define you? Break that cycle. Envision stepping into your light, shedding the cumbersome mask you've worn for too long. What if each limiting belief fell away? Every "I can't," every "I'm not enough," revealing the powerful truth beneath. Wow, suddenly, you feel the pulse of possibility coursing through your veins. This moment, it's not just a fleeting chance. It's the launching pad of your transformation. The universe isn't out to test you. It's inviting you to dance with your potential. What if you embraced every fear, every doubt, and turned them into stepping stones? Can you feel it? The weight lifting, the pull of your true self calling? The path ahead is unclear, but that's where the magic lies. What if stepping into this unknown is the key to everything you've ever wanted? What if, with each step, you reprogram your destiny? Your story is still in the making. Keep moving. Embrace each moment and let the fire within guide you. What will the next chapter hold? Only you can decide. Imagine this moment as a pivotal turn in your life. The chains of doubt are shattering, the fog of confusion lifting, and your heart beats with newfound clarity. You've awakened to the power within you, no longer a spectator, but the author of your story. Remember, the journey isn't over. It's just the beginning. With each decision you make, you are choosing to step into your true self. Feel that liberation? That's the taste of freedom. You are not merely existing. You are igniting a fire that will propel you toward your dreams. Embrace this energy, this spark of awareness. You truly have the ability to reshape your destiny. But don't stop here. You need to subscribe now if you want to keep mastering your mind and your destiny. This is the moment to show the universe your real decision. Smash the like button right now to prove your commitment to reprogramming your life. Flood the comments section with your revelations, your insights, your commitments. Share where you're at and where you're headed. Your voice matters, and please share this video instantly with at least 5 people who are still asleep in their lives, longing for a wake-up call. Don't wait another second. Your courage can light their path. This is your time. Dive in, embrace the journey, and awaken your potential. The world is waiting for you to act.